let us now dive into just kind of our thoughts on this finale, episode 10, titled The Black Queen. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know if you just want to dive just right into spoilers. We can talk about whatever we want from this season. Heartbreaking ending here. I think a lot of people saw it coming, but the way it happened,
it was done. Yeah.
It was just so sudden and shocking. But let's just dive right into it. What did you think? What were some of your standout moments? And what did you think about what happened to poor Luke?
Well, one quick shout out. I like to shout out the prop department for this cool map that they made for the kind of meeting throne room type thing. Dragonstone, thought that was really, really cool. Something I thought was a bit unnecessary was the whole baby thing. I don't know if we need it all. Personally, I know it's Game of Thrones, but it just seemed like they kept showing. It's like, yeah, I get it. Like, her kid died. Like, I understand. I don't know about you, but I just felt like that was like, it was just a little too much. I was like, I don't know if we need. I don't know if this. How does this serve the episode? I don't really think it does.
I felt like I was just on that point. I feel like I was. Yeah. It was just below that for me. I think any longer, and I would have agreed, because I had that where I was like, "Do we need all this?" And then I was like, "Okay, with what we got, whatever." But I do think I guess I just am one of the people. I fall more on the side of this show is kind of just really gonna leave it all out there. That includes everything. And I guess I'm just okay with that. I don't know, and I know that people are upset about it and everything, but also I trust in the showrunners enough, because a lot of people had that same complaint, me as well, of being uncomfortable with very similar scene with Emma in the first episode. But then that later came back to serve an absolutely incredible purpose of basically showing that, that whole thing was really what broke Viserys, kind of mentally and emotionally. He's never really been the same since then, since he made that choice. So I really just think, yes, A, it's a metaphor, and B, I think it just goes to show how messed up this is. Like, it's not like they just took her throne. It's her dad's dead. They took her throne. Later in the episode, her son is dead. And now also she lost this baby with her and Daemon. And, it's just going to set everybody off. But I do agree. I definitely asked myself, I was like, is all of this necessary? For me, I think it just ended up landing where I was like, okay, with the amount, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, go for it.
Overall, I thought it was fantastic ending to the show. Like you said, the ending, I felt like it was, we weren't just gonna leave it with like him saying, "Oh, give me your eye," and Luke just kind of walking out of there, unharmed. And I thought the way it was done and the idea that he was just trying to scare him. He wasn't trying to kill him. And I saw something, I think on TikTok, somebody was like, the shows, that, everybody says, oh, Targaryens, House of Dragon, they control the dragons. Clearly there's, they don't always control them. Sometimes it's like, they don't have the full control that maybe you're led to believe. Granted, they're both, obviously Luke way younger, so maybe they're not like fully like fleshed out riders. But I thought that was really interesting. I thought the relationship with Daemon and it's not Jace, like the older one. Who's the older one?
Jace.
Jace.
Yeah.
That picture his IMDb picture. That actor looks really young in that picture.
Yeah, I think he's got the bad wig too they have on Jace.
Yeah.
I really hope he gets new hair.
I thought that relationship between the two of them was very interesting. I didn't know if it was like a weird dynamic because that's not his child or, but it felt like the two of them were, maybe it's because he felt like Daemon was kind of making Rhaenyra like the back seat, I guess. Like, and Daemon, by the way, seems to be, I would like to say, Daemon seems to be forgetting his place. I've noticed. He wants to fight. He wants to get this into a war, but he's not the king.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in charge here. Rhaenyra's in charge, and I feel like he holds this like very small ounce of resentment that he feels he should be in charge. Is that just me, or is that?
No, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's resentment or that he feels he should be in charge. I think it's just who he is. I think it's just one of those things. It's just he loves Rhaenyra probably more than anyone. I mean, his daughters, of course, too, but he probably loves Rhaenyra, more than anyone in the entire world. Obviously, I think it took a lot for him to, he goes from the first episode of I'm Your Heir to then having the great moment with his brother 2 episodes ago, putting the crown back on his head. And then in this episode, obviously, he's the one to crown her. So I think that, that's in him. I think that is Daemon, is that he loves his wife. He loves that she is queen. He thinks that that's who she should be. But I also think he's still that guy, even though it's been 15 or so years. He's still that guy in the Stepstones that finds out, Viserys is starting to make calls. No, I'm going to go in and finish this myself. And I think that he's looking at it the same way. He's saying, okay, I get that Rhaenyra is like, we need to wait, we need to think about it, but we need to end this conflict right now. And I think that it is that earlier season Daemon coming back up to the surface of just, I'm the military strategist, I'm going to get this done. And say what you will, that if they had left, if the Ravens had flown, if people had gone on Dragonback, when Daemon said, maybe Luke gets to Storm's End before Aemond. Maybe everything goes very differently. But we talk about that a lot in this show. There's a lot of clear markers of if this person had done that instead, all of this could have been avoided. And at this point, I think it's just going to be a big mess of the war.
Who does Corlys know that Daemon killed his brother? Did anybody tell him that?
Yeah, Rhaenys told him when he was waking up.
That.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
she was like Daemon took his head for it, and then Corlys is just kind of like, well, us Valyrian men. So he's like he's like us Valyrian men are always what did he say? Our ambition is always, outreached us or something. Some great line, which again, oh my God, honestly, if I got to say, one of my favorite things in this whole episode was just seeing Steve Toussaint's name back in the opening credits, knowing that Corlys would be in this. I also got a minor book spoiler, which I don't know if you want me to tell you or not. It's just very minor.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right, all I'll say, and also it'll be 2 years, so you'll probably forget. All I'll say is, sounds like Corlys is sticking around for a while, which is great. I heard just that he has an official position in Rhaenyra's court.
Interesting.
Which is like, if that's the case, then that means Steve Toussaint back season 2. One of my biggest worries was that he was going to die in this episode. I'm so glad that he did not, and that he is, back in good health, or, as much as he reasonably can be. And I thought that his performance, again, so powerful, almost like a Paddy Constantine coming into the Great Hall, making that walk. When Corlys comes to court for the first time and he's walking down the steps with his cane, with Rhaenys and everything. And in that moment, as the audience, we don't know. Is he going to side with Rhaenyra? I feel like the way that Steve Toussaint played it, even Corlys doesn't know. I feel like he's going down there to feel it out. He's like, depending on what Rhaenyra's answer is, will be my answer. And then I think I loved when it just felt so like Yeah, like fist bump moment when he was like, the full Velaryon fleet and Driftmark are behind you, and I was just like, yeah, like it's just so awesome. Like I just get so pumped whenever Corlys is on screen. But yeah,
I found it interesting that the whole kind of Daemon's like, we have like 11 dragons and they have 3. But the 3 that are against them are kind of, they've been through it, they know the battle, they know what to do. They've been battle tested per se, and I thought that was interesting,
especially with Vhagar, obviously.
Right, it's like you can't just but I don't know, Daemon's dragon. I don't know what the name of him is.
Caraxes.
Yeah, he looks. Is that the first time we've seen him? No, right?
Oh no, so I can.
Who is that one?
I can give you some info on that. So
okay,
Daemon's dragon is Caraxes, who is the red one we've seen many times. He's the one with the kind of like webbed tail. And the long neck, which we could talk about the great Caraxes scene in this episode, with Daemon and the Kingsguard, of forcing. I got flashbacks to Randall Tarley. I was like, bend the knee, or this guy's gonna Dracarys you out of existence. But the dragon that Daemon goes and finds is named Vermithor. Which he does mention by name, because he says they have 11 dragons with 11 dragon riders. King's Landing has 3 dragons with 3 dragon riders. But then Rhaenyra says later on, I count 14 dragons to their 4. And so basically what that means is there are extra dragons that are riderless. And Daemon, I think he says it briefly too, because there's still Sea Smoke, which is Laener's dragon, is riderless right now. And then he said there's Vermithor, one other one, and then there's also 3 wild dragons that are on the Dragon Mount. So I think the idea is they have access to him. And Vermithor, I don't know spoilers for what actually ends up happening with him, but Vermithor was a previous dragon rider, basically second biggest to Vhagar in terms of size and age. Okay. So that's why he looks so gnarly. But then also apparently some of the wild dragons that will come in later on in the story are even bigger. So, I feel like there's going to be a lot of cool dragon stuff coming up. But yeah, that was Vermithor, who it looks like Daemon is maybe trying to what do they call it? Not imprint on, that's Twilight. Like trying to
You just mean like tame kind of
bond with or something, whatever they call it. Yeah, exactly. I feel like he's trying to see if that'll work, just because if we talk about their strategy a little bit, their strategy sounds like is their first move is to try and take Harrenhal, which does have me a little bit worried because anybody who goes to Harrenhal usually burns alive. But it sounds like he might need Vermithor to do that,
Vermithor,
which will be interesting.
Also known as the Bronze Fury, according to Game of Thrones wiki. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, does it say who the riders were? Is it Visenya or was it Alysanne? It was. Oh no! Oh my God! I'm so stupid. It was Jaehaerys's dragon. Yes. I was like, sorry, I'm new to the Fire and Blood era. Give me reprieve from your anger in the comments.
Did you finish the first book, like Game of Thrones?
Oh God, no. I'm like 4 hours in.
I thought you finished
it already. No. I got to get back to it though. Thank you for reminding me. But so Vermithor was Jaehaerys's
and Hugh Hammer, whoever that is. Don't know who that is. That's the other.
Yeah, owner. I guess that's. I've heard that person is going to be coming in later. We also got, for the first time, Winterfell, Cregan Stark. His name was mentioned. A lot of Stark and Winterfell and Baratheon and everything in this episode. Clearly teasing, letting the audience know, hey, season 2, like any season 2 of a show, we're going to go a little bit wider. You're going to be seeing some places and faces, or at least places and names that you're familiar with. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see what happens. I'll also be interested to see what happens with Jace's reaction to his brother being killed, because obviously we've seen their bond grow, in the last 5 episodes that we've gotten to know those kids. But yeah, I mean, it's just a great episode. But how did you feel about that scene with the Kingsguards, with Daemon kind of not forcing their loyalty, but
interesting.
reaffirming their loyalty?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Because honestly, I was like, I didn't see it all, but when he did, maybe they would turn. That was interesting. Because I couldn't see them because it's like we're kind of here, you know what I mean? It's like we're we're not gonna leave and go back to King's Landing and pledge our allegiance to the high towers and everything.
Yeah, you'd kill us before we even got on the boat.
I did think it was funny. Granted, Alicent's, they didn't take the high tower name, but I did think it was funny how the high towers are not mentioned at all in Game of Thrones. So you have to imagine that maybe it doesn't go too well for them at the end.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Trying to think of all the high towers and Velaryons
maybe they are mentioned
that were in there
at one point, but
no,
they're not
I don't,
like a main house or anything.
The only thing I can think of is if maybe Sam, when he was in Old Town, maybe said something about them. But in terms of actual people, I'm trying to think of high towers and Velaryons. I think the number is 0. So I'm not really sure how Jace is gonna be doing come the series finale, but I don't know how many Velaryons or how long they're gonna last in this world. If you had to just shot in the dark, because at the end of this show somebody's gonna be unlike the last Game of Thrones show, somebody will be on the Iron Throne at the end of this show. Right now, who do you think that's gonna be if you just had to pick?
At the end of the show?
At the end of the show. Once everybody's dead and the war is over.
My characters first. Let's see.
I am going to say...
Can't be Luke, he's dead.
I'm going to make a bold thing here.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going. I don't think it's going to be any of the main players. I think it's going to be maybe one of the babies. Maybe it's like Joffrey or... new Aegon, like Daemon and Rhaenyra's Aegon, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Give me oh man,
I really hope it's not any of the Greens.
Better not be Aemon.
Yeah, I really just hope that Aegon dies. I think it would be really bad to be this invested and then have the Greens win the war.
Man. I'm just looking at the Targaryens, I'm assuming. I'm gonna go with Jace. Jace seems like he has a good head on his shoulders, and he, would be able to maneuver all of this.
All right, man. If you just said, we gotta clip that out for 3 years from now, because if you just said Jace has a good head on his shoulders and he gets decapitated in like season 3, I can't. That's gonna be too perfect. Yeah, I think I agree. I think he's really trying with his learning the High Valyrian and everything. We know some sad fates about some favorite characters of ours that were spoiled in Game of Thrones.
I don't remember any of that. So
that's why I'm not. That's why I'm not saying the name. Yeah. But so I think Jace is a possibility for sure. But yeah, I think it's just gonna be. I think they're all just gonna kill each other. I think all these main players, and then I don't know. Maybe we have a Hand of the King watch over things until one of the small babies comes of age. Maybe it's somebody who's not even born yet. I don't even, I don't know, because they keep, every video I watch, they keep saying, and in season 2, there will be more babies. There will be more children again. They just keep making more and more children, which is insane. But, all right, last thing I think we'll do, just a little fun thing. Let's talk season 2. What do you think is happening? Who's dying first? What's going to be the big shock? Is there going to be a time jump? What are we doing?
I don't think any time jump because, or if there is one, maybe just a year or two. But just because the war it's right here, like it's coming, like we're right there. So I don't think there would be that. If there is a time jump, very minimal, I would have to imagine. I think Otto's gone. I think he's gone this season.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, it's just he would be the most. I mean, if I were,
I thought he was going in this episode. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I thought Daemon was just gonna ice him.
Oh yeah. But he held back. I'm gonna go with Otto, and I'm gonna go with one of Allison's children as well. Don't have a pick on which one, but you took one of my kids. I'm gonna take one of yours.
I feel like I'm gonna say. I think I agree. I think Otto is definitely a goner. And then I would say maybe. I feel like another black has to go. Maybe Rhaenys. Maybe she doesn't make it out. Maybe she does end up, fully joining the fight, has kind of a sacrifice. Although I don't know, because I'm trying to think, like, not a lot of people died in this first season, but then again, a war is about to break out, so, like, a lot can happen. I don't know. I feel like it could really be anybody, but I think we both agree, definitely, I think that Otto is definitely a high priority target for a lot of people involved.